Today, on the VinceEverettEllison Show, we're going to talk about these HBCUs and how they are very intolerant and how they're violent against anyone that speaks differently from their ideas. Today, on the VinceEverettEllison Show. Get this thing started. I told you. These HBCUs are training these young black people to be Marxists, to be victims, to be anti-Christian bigots. They're training them to be a bunch of perverts, liars, psychopaths, anti-Christian bigots, thugs, hoes, and rappers. That's all they are. You go on some of these HBCU campuses now, they look like the Source Awards, they look like a hip-hop video. So these little, some young white men walked out, had thought, well, obviously they thought better of these young children than I do, and decided they was going to go out there and try to have a conversation with them. Now, if they had talked to me, I said, man, you don't want to go out there. They would have said, why? I said, look, dog, this is going to sound racist as hell, but I just got to tell you the truth. You don't want to go anywhere around those HBCUs. Why? Because they teach these children to be victims, they teach them to be Marxists, and they teach them to be anti-Christian. Well, no, Vince, I believe they can be talked to. I've heard, and I said, no, man, to hell with what you done heard. I'm telling you what I know. Most of them a bunch of thugs, hoes, and rappers. Now listen, you're going to find an exception. I'm not talking about all of them. They're like the black preachers, okay? You're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 10% of them that might be all right. The rest of them suckers, I'd advise everybody in America, if you want to make money, invest in 2 things. Because the future, these suckers are going to be filled up. Invest in private prisons and invest in funeral homes. Be a good investment. That's where a lot of these jokers are going. When you cannot come to a university and sit down and have an intelligent dialogue. I'm not talking about just jokers on the street, on the corner, beefing and fighting. I'm talking about a university where you're supposed to be able to sit down and reason. You can, Charlie Kirk went to Oxford. Y'all should go on YouTube and watch it. And Charlie Kirk sat there with these liberals at Oxford. Turn their asses up.
I'll give you £1,000 right now if you could tell me the U.S. citizen that was deported under Donald Trump. You said that twice. Yeah, the U.S. citizen that was deported under Donald Trump. Can anyone tell me? £1,000. I'll give it to you right now. Yeah, name? Wrong, not a U.S. citizen. A citizen of El Salvador. Anyone else? U.S. citizen deported under Trump. Nope, that was a lie. You should know better than that. You go to Oxford. So that is a correction. Number 2, can you tell me when it comes to Charlottesville, something that you said when Donald Trump said that there were people on both sides, he was actually talking about the statue debate, not what you said. So that's a hoax. That's line number 2. Oh yeah, you said that somebody over here said something about Pete Hegseth being nothing more than a TV host. You should also mention that he was a service member of the military. Nope. Sorry, I'm going to talk uninterruptedly. Thank you. Service member and was a decorated war hero. Funny you didn't mention that. Finally, the Donald Duck, really, like what was that all about? What is this jar? I have no idea what you're talking about in the back of the room. It's completely lost on me. So I don't know what that's all about. Also, on the Canadian border, the professor failed to mention that the Canadian border was closed. President Trump said fentanyl, and the amount of terrorists that are coming across the Canadian border, of which the most terrorists that come into America come across the Canadian border on the terrorist watch list. You did not mention that. And finally, professor, you never heard of it in South Africa. Interesting. You never heard of that. The fact that a major political party in South Africa says, quote, kill the Boers. Kill the Boers. I would expect more of somebody who wrote a dissertation and teaches here at Oxford to say that you would not know about the attempted slaughter and genocide of white South Africans. I never went to university. I take that as a great compliment. So therefore, everyone who went to university should be able to run circles around me. You'll be the judge, but I'll do my best.
Charlie went on Jubilee with a bunch of little liberals, 20 of them, all just running up to talk to him and challenge him. Turn their behinds up.
Have you been told that Charlie Kirk is a racist because he said that black people were better off prior to civil rights, therefore that makes him a racist? I need you to watch this video.
We also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement.
He said Jim Crow is evil, right? The context of the conversation is economics. Keep listening.
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. It was evil. It was terrible. But black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s.
Yes.
Did you hear the black woman say yes? As in she was acknowledging what he said was true?
Why do you think that is?
Good question. So we have the Civil Rights Act, we have more benefits, more government programs. Something changed between the 1950s and 2024. So there's two answers to this question. Either America got more racist since 1950s to 2024. So like that 70-year period, because black Americans are worse off today per capita.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You agree with that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Than in the 1950s. Or there's another explanation. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, which is I think you would acknowledge that the disappearance of the black father has been the number one driver of black poverty in this country.
Did you hear her say that she agrees with him? I don't even know if that stat is true. But it's a stat that they're talking about that she seemed to at least agree with. They're talking about economics. They're talking about economics. So you guys can go watch the whole thing on Jubilee to finish out the conversation. But they were talking about reasons why the black community might have been better off financially in the past per capita than they are today, which she agreed with that premise. And you can disagree with his conclusion. I don't think she gave a great argument, so I think he definitely won that round regardless of what you think. But he was not condoning racism. He wasn't. And the people who made you think that, you need to rethink listening to them.
Sat down to having, I go on college campuses, and they try to be hostile toward me, but you know, I worked in the penitentiary, so I already know what to expect. And I already tell the cops, you know, because when I go out there, there'll be a bunch of police and everything around. And I tell them specifically, you cops ain't here to protect me from you. They're here to protect you from me. And one of y'all come up here and try to grab hold of me, I'm going to snatch the life out of you. Try me. So when I saw those little cats out there with the little red Make America Great hats on again, I saw that's bad luck right there. Yeah, it should work. It should be okay. It should be okay. It should be. But when you live in the real world, you know how things are. It's like that little dude I saw in Washington. Well, I was living in Silver Spring, Maryland. Met him at the bookstore. Nice little young white guy. It was kind of late in the evening, about 7 o'clock. And it was like in November. And the sun was going down early. At the end of the conversation, he told me he's going into D.C. He's working for a charity. I said, yeah? What part of D.C. you going in? I'm going down in the Trinidad area. I said, man, you don't want to do that. He said, well, why? I said, look, man, let me tell you, you're getting set up. So I'm a bad dude, and I don't go down to the Trinidad area at a certain time of night. You're a little white dude. You go down there, they're going to beat the hell out of you. I'm telling you, I don't go into Trinidad. Well, no, I'm going to be telling you. That's all right. I ain't going to argue with you. Good luck. I got up the next day, saw him on the news, laying in a hospital bed. I said, that little dude I saw down at the bookstore last night. Put the mic up to him, said, man, what happened? He said, well, I was putting stuff in the trunk of my car, and I saw this guy walking with a beer can, and he was drinking it and threw it down, and I told him he should pick it up. I said, I know that brother asked him, who you talking to? And he asked me, who you talking to? I said, there it is. That was your out, and you didn't take it. You said, I'm talking to you. He said, I'm talking to you. And I said, when the brother lit him up, and he just started hitting me. I said, yep. I'm telling y'all right now on the conservative side, we can get this message out, but y'all got to be working with the proper messengers. It's always a messenger now. It's not about you being right. It's about you being smart and right. How do you deliver the message is more important than the message itself. People always buy the salesman. I can look at a political race, and I can tell you right now who's going to win it because I'd say, if you don't like that person running, you're not going to vote for him. Donald Trump won because Donald Trump made people laugh. He made people like him. A lot of people hated Donald Trump, but the people that loved him, loved him. Why? Because Donald Trump entertained people, man. Trump rallies were insane because Trump would get up there talking trash. He started slapping around the people that you didn't like. He's pointing at the press, just calling Hillary Clinton all kind of names. And people loved those rallies because Trump entertained people. I'm telling you, if you're going to go out on these campuses, at these HBCUs, you better send some brothers out there that can deal with these people. And there ain't a lot of them that are conservatives, okay? Now, I know me and April Chapman, John Yamachukwa, we don't have no problems with them. Nah. We'll be geared up. Wish they would try something. But I'd advise you not to be sending. Now, I ain't saying because they happen to be white boys that they can't handle themselves. I know some white boys you can send out there and they're not going to bother them. Oh, they exist. Believe me, they exist. But those are the ones that you send. I remember when I worked in the penitentiary, you had all types in the penitentiary. And these inmates with these racist inmates usually didn't bother the other racists. So the Aryan Nation didn't hardly ever get into it with the 5%ers of the Nation of Islam. They just kind of stay away from each other. If they fought, they kind of fought in-house. I didn't see a fight between these two divergent racial ethnic classes while I was there. But if we had to go and arrest one of them, our captain understood that if you were going to go arrest one of them Aryan Nation guys, you send 2 white officers to go get them. Why? Because you just didn't want the conflict. There's no need for it. And if you were going to arrest some Nation of Islam guys, you sent 2 black officers to go get them. Why? Why have the conflict? Why have the fight? Then if you wanted to help us beat the hell out of some Aryan Nation guys and say, go down there, Ellison, and I want these guys to balled up here, and if they even flick a finger, wear them out. I got it, boss. If you want trouble, that's what you do. And if you want some trouble, let's be about the trouble. Now, that could have been what happened, and these idiots at the HBCU kind of showed that's how savage they were. It didn't help them any. All it's going to do is give Donald Trump some ammunition to make a phone call to him and say this right here. Tell you what, the next time somebody come on your campus with a MAGA hat on, and you have a mob come and start assaulting them, you can look for all your federal funding to be pulled from that college. Y'all, I bet this will never happen again because I can tell you, if I know Donald Trump, he's already seen it. And if I know Donald Trump, he's already had the Secretary of Education call these colleges and universities and tell them, y'all better get y'all stuff in line. But it's a shame it has to be that way. With all the federal money that these HBCUs are getting, I mean, Donald Trump I think he issued something, give them like $500 billion. I don't have the exact number. A lot of money. I think $500 million to HBCUs. A lot of money. And then when somebody comes on the campus to try to talk, try to have freedom of speech, try to engage in ideas, you do what you've always done. What they did on this campus at TSU, Tennessee State University, is show us just how much the real truth is needed on these college campuses now. And we're going to deliver it. And we're going to deliver it in a way that they can really, really understand. Yeah, we're coming back. We're coming back stronger. And we know there are a few conservatives on that campus, a few Christians, real Christians on those campuses, and they're going to be there with us. And we're going to sit down, we're going to have a dialogue with you little ingrates, with you little ignoramuses that don't know how to discuss. Yeah, you think you're gonna come, you think I'm going to come on those campuses to coddle you? I'm going to tell everybody there that since we're running all these illegals out, that when you guys get out of school during the summertime, we're going to put you in the fields working. See, you like that so you can leave those video games alone and get off your mama's couch. Yeah, we're going to make you work off that fingernail polish you got on your fingers. Yeah, we're going to cut your SNAP and your food stamps and your federal aid so you have to get a job and work to go to school so you earn it. Hell, I'm going to try to get Donald Trump to bring back the draft so he can put you out there on the battlefield, make you have to learn how to use a gun, stand at attention and shine your shoes, look like you got some sense and cut your hair. Teach you to do what Tom Ford said. Like before 1960, you could look at any American city and you could see that every man had on a suit. You know why? Because they were all aspiring. They weren't victims like you are. Bunch of cowards who come in a mob and run two young men off of your campus because you can't sit down and talk rationally with a debate, in a debate. And then you're upset that people look at you as a thug. In college, and you don't look any different than a ghetto hoodlum selling crack on the street corner. Set you side by side with them, you don't know the difference. Used to be you could tell the difference between a college boy and a street thug. Can't do it anymore. You know why? Because they all got the thug mind. See how they acted? If it had been one of my children caught doing that, well, it wouldn't have been one of my children. But if it had been, ooh, Lord, they could have. So these FBAs that send their children to these HBCUs, and it's interesting, the HBCUs, the whole thing's crazy. Okay, in the 1960s, Martin Luther King Jr. said, we want to integrate. We don't want to go to the black colleges and universities no more. Now, ain't no white people trying to get to the black colleges and universities, right? We want to go to the white colleges and universities. Okay, so James Meredith breaks into Ole Miss, and then the Little Rock Nine goes and they do it on the high school scene. And then they got this little girl by the name of Ruby Bridges. She does it K through 12. And then they have so you got colleges, you got high school, you got K through 12. Then you got George Wallace keeping the two black kids out of University of Alabama. Okay, so black folks finally get what they want. They get to integrate into these white colleges and universities. Now they mad. Because all the best black students went to the white schools. So all the black football players who would have been going to the HBCUs, who got all this money now, are sending the money to the schools that they graduated from. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, and the HBCUs are not getting the money from the alumni. All the smartest doctors and the smartest business people are now going to the white colleges, and they're giving money to their endowment. So the HBCUs got to get the dregs now. And if you graduate from one, you probably still ain't hardly making any money. So you got what you want. You sent your best students to the colleges of who you called your oppressor. And now you got to come back Donald Trump for money. And then when your master sends some of his people down to talk to you about his policy, you're going to run them off the campus. That's a bad idea. I can guarantee you, if there is a Jesus Christ in heaven right now, Donald Trump is on the phone talking to his Secretary of Education. He might have called the colleges himself, knowing Donald Trump. He might have called the colleges himself. He said, let me tell you something. If MAGA ever comes back on those campuses again and you run them off, everybody's fired. So TPUSA, Blexit, Young Americans Foundation. Let's do a bum rush to the HBCUs. See if we can educate these children on what it is to be an American, not to be a FBA, Foundation of Black American, or African American. Africa sold you all over here, so I don't know why you want to go back to Africa. We should take everybody who want to be African American, take them and drop them off in the Congo, since you want to be African American so much. See how you like it there. Send it to Nigeria where they're killing Christians. And you want Africa so much? We'll give it to you. And the ones that stay, let's call ourselves who we are, Americans. Let's have dialogue. Let's have discourse. Because I tell you, if you come to Liberty University, they're going to talk to you. If you go to Hillsdale College, they'll just sit down and talk with you and prove you wrong. Go to Regent University, Pat Robinson School. They'll talk to you, prove you wrong. You won't come out there and have a pleasant conversation because you know that you cannot stand up. You know you cannot compete. You know that your ideas are trash. You know that we're better people than you are. And you know that if we sat down and if we have a dialogue, you won't be able to articulate anything because you're full of envy, you're full of hate, you're full of covetousness, you're lazy, you're inferior-minded. And I'm going to look you in the eye and tell you all of it. And that's why you don't want me there. But look here, player, we coming. And when I come down, I'm going to be there to wake you up. And I hope I did you some good here today. So join me again for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website. And on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got T-shirts, we got caps. You got my books, my documentaries. You got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new T-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the T-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.